There are many misconceptions surrounding evolution, one of the biggest being because evolution is slow, humans cannot influence it. And this is false. Among many other things, humans can also influence evolution by a process called artificial selection. Cows and fish are a great example of us influencing evolution. Let's start off with the cow. Farmers typically prefer cows that yield large amounts of milk, and they allow these cows to hang out with the bulls more often than those cows that produce less milk. As a result, the higher milk producing cows are able to reproduce more frequently, whereas the less milk producing cows reproduce less frequently. This is a great example of artificial selection, which is a mechanism of evolution. Farmers select certain cows that are allowed to reproduce. Also, farmers group up cows based on their milk yield. Cows that produce high quantities of milk are transferred from one population and put together with other cows that also produce high amounts of milk. This is known as gene flow, and is also a mechanism of evolution. The cows that produce more milk pass on this trait to their offspring, and then they pass it on to their own offspring, and so on. Evidence for this evolution in cows is found in the form of molecular biology. The gene FABP4 codes for how much milk a cow produces. A certain variation in this gene causes the cow to produce little milk, another variation in this gene causes the cow to produce a not too little, not too high amount of milk, and another variation in this gene causes the cow to produce a crazy high amount of milk. And this variation has been found to be the most dominant in cows, showing that the cows have evolved over time with the help of humans to produce more milk. There is more evidence of this as well. In the United Kingdom in 1980, the average cow produced 4,653 liters of milk per year, and in 2010, the average cow in the United Kingdom produced 7,271 liters of milk. The milk production almost doubled in 3 decades. And this isn't just looking at one cow in the UK, it is taking a look at all the cows in the country. Wow, that's quite a change. Looking at the 4 points of natural selection. Number 1. Overproduction. Cows produce more calves than the environment can support. This is also partially because humans place males and females in close quarters to each other whenever they need more oxen, and thus humans also influence the cow population. Number 2. Variation. Some cows produce a lot of milk, whereas some cows produce little milk. Number 3. Competition. Only those cows that are fit survive and get to reproduce. Weak cows do not survive to the age at which they could reproduce, and those that produce little milk are discarded by humans or fed less food by humans. Number 4. Selection. Cows that possess the ability to produce more milk are selected to reproduce by humans. Cows that are naturally strong and have heritable traits that allow them to survive are naturally selected to reproduce by nature. Some environmental pressures are also present in the production of milk. Cows prefer a nice cool place to produce milk and typically produce more milk when they are in a cool place versus when they are in a hot place. This requires farmers/companies to employ the use of ACs or fans. Some cool facts about cows. In Canada, a cow produces 7,963 liters of milk every year on average. Cows are red-green colorblind. A dairy cow can produce 125 pounds of saliva in a single day. Cows eat 100 plus pounds of feed a day and drink 7 to 8 gallons of water. Cows cannot vomit. Cows have teeth only on the bottom side of their mouth. Although evolution is slow, humans have influenced the evolution of cows by changing their milk production quantity. This proves false that because evolution is slow, humans cannot influence it. Well, moving on to fish, specifically the Atlantic cod. Fishers typically prefer bigger fish, and a lot of fishers, as a rule, harvest exclusively the larger fish, and allow the smaller ones to go back into the ocean. This has caused a dramatic size drop in fish, especially the Atlantic cod. As the bigger fish are being caught and harvested, the smaller fish survive and reproduce and pass on the small size trait they carry to their offspring. This results in smaller and smaller fish every generation. This is an example of artificial selection. Small fish typically form a school with other small fish, and those belonging in a group of large fish typically end up leaving the school to join another school with small fish. This is an example of gene flow. There is evidence having to do with anatomy and molecular biology that shows the rapid size decrease in Atlantic cod. In 1972, the average male Atlantic cod was 51 centimeters in length, and the average female Atlantic cod was 54 centimeters in length. In 1995, just 23 years later, the average male Atlantic cod was just 39 centimeters in length, and the average female Atlantic cod was just 42 centimeters in length. This is evidence that shows that evolution has taken place. Looking at the 4 points of natural selection. Number 1. Overproduction. Atlantic cod produce more offspring than can survive in the environment. The average female lays 8.3 batches consisting of multiple eggs during mating season. Some of these eggs do not get fertilized, and the many that do get fertilized do not survive for long after they hatch. Number 2. Variation. Some fish are big and most are small. Most fish are small because of human influences. We let the small ones live and take the big ones. Number 3. Competition. Atlantic cod compete for resources, and males compete in order to fertilize eggs. Typically, a lot less big males get to fertilize eggs because there are a lot less of them. This is also because of human influences. Number 4. Selection. Small fish are typically the most successful and are selected to reproduce because they have high numbers and are not threatened by humans, which make them more fit. And because of this, they naturally get to reproduce more. Environmental pressures. Typically, in order to grow, a fish must be in water with high oxygen levels, with a cool temperature, and water that is at least 200 meters deep. Here are some cool facts about the Atlantic cod. They produce a protein similar to antifreeze, which prevents them from freezing in cold waters. Humans are the only natural predators to the adult Atlantic cod. Cannibalism has been recorded among Atlantic cod. Atlantic cod can change color at certain water depths. So from this we can conclude that humans have directly influenced the evolution of fish, especially the Atlantic cod, by changing their size. Not only did humans influence the evolution of fish and the cows that were previously discussed, but humans also have the ability to literally influence the evolution of any other species on the planet. Other than cows and fish, 2 other really good examples of this are dogs and cats. So this idea that because evolution is slow, humans can't influence it is completely false and is a very common misconception. And this idea was proved false through the analysis of our influence on the evolution of the cow and on the evolution of fish, especially the Atlantic cod.